Feel better? You will. Because today, you're going to be able to breathe that sigh of relief after we talk about a couple tips so that you don't have to try to be perfect on camera. You can do it in less than blah, 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 blah. If you're one of those people that gets on camera and you're super nervous because you're trying to do it in one take and make it perfect because smooth is awesome and you want people to watch your video and be like, oh my God, he's so good or she's so good, but you have anxiety, well, guess what? Today you're gonna breathe that sigh of relief because I'm gonna show you how to do it without having to do it perfectly. And you're gonna love it. So I know what you're thinking. Okay, tell me, how do we do this? And it's simple. We use 2 cameras and we take multiple takes. And here's a tidbit. If the second camera thing doesn't work for whatever reason, you can still add B-roll over the top to stitch the 2 takes together and nobody would be the wiser. So let's first talk about the 2 different cameras and how they're set up. Okay, so in a lot of my videos, I'm talking to you, but in some cases, client work, we don't necessarily want the person talking directly. There's cases in which that's really important, and then there's cases where it feels awkward. For example, if for whatever reason we're doing a testimonial type video, we don't necessarily want the person giving the testimonial directly talking to the camera. 1, it's weird, and 2, it's not like we want them talking to the audience. We basically want it to look like we're kind of eavesdropping onto the conversation. So a lot of times that's actually when we switch our perspective and we go for a little bit more of an angle shot, and it kind of looks something like this. And from this perspective, now I can actually have the same conversation and talk about how all these great things happen and how I love this company or this product and things like that. And it looks like you guys are eavesdropping in on that conversation rather than me talk to you directly, which makes a lot of sense. And a 2-camera setup, I like to use it in a very particular way. Now, in camera A, the main camera, there's only 2 options for me. I'm actually either looking directly here, right? Or I'm looking off to the side. Now, if I'm looking directly to the camera and I'm speaking to you, then I want to be in center frame. Make sense? If I was to speak to you and I'm sitting off frame like this, it would just feel awkward, like there's an imbalance in the picture. But if I'm sitting center frame and I'm talking to you, it just makes a lot more sense because that's how we would be talking to each other naturally. The other option, instead of being center frame, is if I'm placed off to one of the thirds. Now, here's the catch. If I'm off on a third, then I don't want to be looking directly at the camera. These are typically shots that we use for testimonials or interviews or things like that. It looks a lot like this. Now, this is me on a third. Again, I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking directly at somebody else or maybe even staring off into space, but my conversation is directed this way, and there's a lot of open space over here because there's an assumption that there's somebody over here that I'm talking to, telling about either a product or service that I love. Now, if I'm on this third, that just makes it awkward because now all the space is behind me and there's really nothing there. It's like I'm talking, it just feels weird. It just feels weird. Plus, when I use that second camera, the angles are all weird and there's no way that I can get another angle in there that makes a lot of sense. So let's reset. Okay, so now we're back. We're center frame, we're back. Now, let's take it off to this side on that third, but now let's introduce that second camera angle as if maybe we just messed up, or maybe it's an interview type situation where somebody just asked me a question, I answered it honestly and genuinely, and now they're gonna ask me a second question, but I don't want it to look choppy, so my second answer might start from that second camera angle. So that second camera angle is very important. Not only does it need to be about a 30-degree change from the primary camera angle, but it also, for me, needs to be punched in a little bit. It needs to be a different shot, and I like to have my second camera angle be something tighter than it is in this one. So if I'm looking off here and I'm talking about something that I love or a service that I've used that I really appreciate, and then I've got to make a break into something or answer another question, I might use this second camera angle. That way, when I talk about something more profound or dramatic, or quite honestly, if I make a mistake or answer a second question and I need to clip it together so it looks smooth, then I can do it this way and it's so much better. Now, what you just saw was me pausing and breaking a handful of different times, but because I'm switching camera angles, it looks pretty smooth. Now you can totally use this on the front angle as well. So again, I'm back to my center frame with my camera A, but when I shift over to camera B, it's that nice punched in feel that makes it a little bit more impactful. Am I right? So now you can breathe that sigh of relief to where you don't feel like you have to get it right on the first take or that you have to be perfect, because now you can use multiple cameras and multiple takes and then stitch them together. And don't forget, you can also use B-roll. We made a video all about B-roll that you could use to cover up some of those mistakes, and nobody's going to be the wiser. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and trust me when I tell you, it does have an impact and it really supports the stuff that I do here. Not to mention, I just like making videos for you guys, and I can't wait for the next one. But until next time, I'll see you later.